The Caribbean's usual calm is shattered by the thunder of warships and fighter jets. Headlines scream, U.S. warships, mass off Venezuelan coast, bombers on high alert. The largest American military buildup in decades is underway. This is no drill. On Aruba and Curaçao, destroyers slice through blue waters, jets roar overhead, tourists stare, locals whisper. Military hardware has replaced the sound of waves. Officially, the U.S. calls it a maritime security operation, but the scale says otherwise. These are not police tools. These are the instruments of invasion. The world holds its breath as the UN calls for calm, but the drums of war grow louder. In Caracas, President Maduro denounces the U.S., putting his military on high alert. Venezuelans, already struggling, now face the specter of war. Streets pulse with anxiety and defiance. The question is not if, but when. American forces activate airfields in Puerto Rico, fleets patrol the sea lanes. The Pentagon stays silent, but the message is clear. A storm is gathering. For millions living in the shadow of this military machine, the threat is real. The world watches, hoping for peace, bracing for conflict. Every move signals escalation. Every day the region edges closer to war. The Caribbean is now a chessboard, and every piece is in motion. The future of South America hangs in the balance. The air is thick with tension, the outcome uncertain. The storm over Venezuela is no longer a distant threat. The countdown to conflict has begun. The U.S. is reviving its old Caribbean bases for a new era of conflict. Roosevelt Roads Naval Station in Puerto Rico, once dormant, now buzzes with activity. C-17s land day and night, unloading troops, equipment, and advanced tech. F-22 Raptors scream down runways. Destroyers fill the deep water port. Geography is key. These bases are close to Venezuela but on U.S. soil. From here, the U.S. can launch strikes, stage troops, and control the region. It's like having an unsinkable aircraft carrier next to the target. The reactivation signals long-term commitment, not a fleeting show of force. Local communities are divided. Some welcome jobs, others fear war on their doorstep. The Pentagon calls it strategic repositioning, putting power where it matters. These bases are now forward operating hubs, ready for rapid response. The message to rivals is unmistakable. The Caribbean is America's backyard. Old runways and hangars now serve a dangerous new purpose. The U.S. is prepared for a drawn-out operation if needed. Every flight, every ship is a warning to Venezuela and its allies. The transformation is complete. These bases are launch pads for war. The stakes are higher than ever. The region's fate may be decided from these very runways. The Caribbean's sleeping giants are awake. The Venezuelan crisis is a global chess match. Russia and China are deeply involved. Russia arms Venezuela with advanced weapons and military advisors, seeking a foothold near U.S. shores. China's influence is economic. Billions in loans, infrastructure, and oil deals tie Caracas to Beijing. For Russia, it's about challenging U.S. dominance. For China, securing energy. An American invasion threatens both their interests. The U.S. must weigh Moscow's military support and Beijing's economic retaliation. This is no longer a regional dispute, it's a flashpoint in a global power struggle. Russian advisors could help Venezuela's air defenses. Chinese tech could disrupt U.S. communications. Every U.S. move is watched in Moscow and Beijing. The American buildup is meant to deter interference, but the risk of escalation is real. Venezuela is now a pawn in a high-stakes game between superpowers. The fate of the country is tied to global rivalry. The bear and the dragon cast long shadows over the Caribbean. The crisis is about more than Venezuela. It's about the balance of world power. The next move could change everything. Beneath the talk of democracy and stability lies a deeper motive: oil. Venezuela holds the world's largest proven oil reserves, more than Saudi Arabia. For decades, it fueled the U.S. economy, but political shifts disrupted the flow. Control over Venezuelan oil would secure U.S. energy and influence global prices. China's oil for loans deals threaten to lock up this resource for Beijing. For Washington, letting a rival control this black gold is a strategic nightmare. The military buildup is about more than politics. It's about securing energy. The crisis is a battle for the world's most coveted resource. Oil is the engine driving decisions in Washington, Moscow, and Beijing. The fight for Venezuela is a fight for the future of energy. The stakes could not be higher. The U.S. has assembled a full-scale invasion force in the Caribbean. At its heart, an amphibious assault ship, a floating base carrying thousands of Marines, helicopters, and landing craft. Arleigh Burke-class destroyers, armed with Tomahawk missiles, stand ready to strike deep into Venezuela. Virginia-class submarines lurk unseen, gathering intelligence and threatening from below. In the skies, B-2 stealth bombers and F-22 and F-35 jets prepare to dominate. Drones like the MQ-9 Reaper provide constant surveillance and precision strikes. The plan overwhelms Venezuela with speed and firepower from air and sea. Destroyers and subs launch the first missile wave. Bombers and fighters follow to crush air defenses. Once the skies and seas are secure, Marines storm the beaches. Every asset has a role in a tightly choreographed assault. The technological edge is staggering. The U.S. aims for shock and awe, swift, decisive, overwhelming. The tools of war are in place. The world holds its breath. If war erupts, it starts in darkness and silence. Cyber attacks cripple Venezuela's power and communications, sowing chaos. Tomahawk missiles rain down on radars, airfields, and command centers, blinding the defense. B-2 bombers strike key targets. F-22s and F-35s sweep the skies for total air supremacy. With air defenses shattered, A-10s and AC-130s pound ground forces. Only then do Marines land, by sea and air, seizing ports and airports. The invasion is swift, multi-pronged, and relentless. The goal collapses resistance before it can organize. The attack is designed for speed, shock, and overwhelming force. Isolation is key to the U.S. strategy. The Navy forms a blockade, no ships in or out, choking Venezuela's economy and oil exports. The blockade also blocks military aid from Russia, China, or Iran. U.S. destroyers and submarines enforce the quarantine. Venezuela becomes an island. In the air, a no-fly zone is imposed. Any unauthorized aircraft is shot down. The goal: total control, no reinforcements, no escape. Psychological pressure mounts as hope fades inside Venezuela. The steel ring is both a military and psychological weapon. The U.S. aims to force surrender before a drawn-out ground war. Venezuela won't surrender quietly. Its Bolivarian defense doctrine mobilizes not just the army, but millions of civilian militia. These volunteers defend neighborhoods, gather intelligence, and ambush invaders. The army avoids open battle, hiding in jungles and cities, fighting a war of attrition. Russian-supplied air defenses like the S-300 threaten U.S. aircraft. Even a few downed planes would be a psychological blow. The military constantly moves missile systems, playing cat and mouse. The Navy and Special Forces use hit-and-run tactics, targeting U.S. supply lines and bases. Every Venezuelan, soldier or civilian, becomes part of the resistance. The entire country turns into a battlefield. If U.S. troops enter Venezuelan cities, the war turns brutal and personal. Urban combat favors the defenders. Ambushes, IEDs, snipers at every corner. The Bolivarian militia, fighting for their homes, blend into the population. For U.S. troops, every street is a potential trap. Russia could supply advanced weapons and drones, raising the stakes. The goal isn't to defeat the U.S. militarily, but to bleed it politically. Images of urban carnage erode support back home. Venezuela aims to create a quagmire, dragging out the conflict. The fight for every street is a fight for time and willpower. The true battle is for the world's attention and America's resolve.